Hello and welcome. I'm Phil Loicono with Tea Party HD. One of Albert Einstein's most famous quotes stated, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results." This bailout after bailout continues to reward economic foolishness with no repercussions. Ladies and gentlemen of America, when are we going to wake up to the political agendas of Barack Obama and his administration? Our country keeps monetizing debt when we can't afford it. The United States is in a downward financial spiral towards huge government control. We must go back to the original foundation for our country and ensure that the principles for our forefathers are at the forefront of our government for generations to come.
If the goal is to restore faith, history, and the rule of law, Constitution, founders, and God, well, are we moving in that direction? It has been well documented that the policies for the Center for American Progress are the policies of the White House. This is the George Soros organization. From health care to the stimulus to the financial regulations, all comes from here first. You can trace the Obama agenda and all the people in the White House right directly back to the Center for American Progress. It's where Van Jones is. It's where Van Jones came from. So, now what are they working on next? Well, education. Securing our youth's future. Here it is, education reform. Center for American Progress has published a new report on some recommendations on, what we should cut in our federal education programs. The report has outlined some interesting cuts to our programs. And here's what they believe needs to go, according to the Center for American Progress. They write, the Department of Education supports numerous, mostly small grant programs that serve niche purposes. Many of these programs should be eliminated, including the niche program, Academies for American History and Civics. Okay, history is a niche program. Who needs it? We're global now. What else? The We the People program on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Why would you want to instruct anybody? Civic education on the Constitution or Bill of Rights. Who needs it? And among other recommendations for cuts is excellence in economic education. Again, why promote economic and financial literacy? We have people like Barney Frank and Chris Dodd telling us exactly what we should do with our finances. If everyone was economically literate, if we had civic education, if we knew our history, well, then we might read the bills. We might elect entirely different people.
Newly elected Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan stated, "A survey of legal systems outside our own is more valuable than a study of the Constitution." Next, listen carefully during this exclusive interview with Niger Innis from the National Press Conference in D.C.
Hey, this is William Owens, Tea Party HD in Washington, wrapping up our press conference. I'm standing here with Niger Innis. Man, how eloquent you spoke today on the issues. Is this historic or what?
It is historic.
What have you taken? Did you expect this?
You know something? You threw me with a real fastball because I did not expect this. Lord Marcus reached out to me. He said, do you want to be a part of this? My initial just knee-jerk reaction, absolutely yes, okay? Then I heard the controversies around this Tea Party and that Tea Party, and the whole Williams thing got injected, and there was some folk, because it was an email chain of us, a whole bunch of us, that started saying, well, I'm not so sure that we want to be part of something that the Tea Party Express is organizing. And I said, that's bogus. Right. If you were part of that chain.
Absolutely.
I came in early and I said, that's nonsense.
That's right.
I said, I represent a 68-year-old civil rights organization that's older than all of y'all. And I'm not afraid that my legitimacy is undermined by being part of a Tea Party Express endeavor. Now, having said that, I did not express this turnout.
Wow.
This was a fabulous turnout. It was historic. In fact, I'm glad you say that because what I hope is that it's not a one-shot deal.
Yes.
We do this event, we get our nice little clips in the media, and then we all go back to our separate corners. I hope this becomes a part of the sub-movement that is the Tea Party movement.
If there was a race debate, would you welcome that?
Yes. I mean, I think we have an overfixation on race. I have traveled around the world, Europe, Africa, Asia. There is no country on earth that has done more to reverse itself, to look itself in the mirror and to reverse itself for its minorities than the United States of America.
Hey, this is William Owens, Tea Party HD. Stay tuned.
Arizona did, Florida did, now Utah is proposing legislation on illegal immigration. If you take a look at the Declaration of Independence, this one section should be Obama's daily mission statement to save our country. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Keywords here: consent of the governed. You, the people of the United States. Arizona, Florida, and now Utah are metaphorically screaming out to our government to listen to its people on the serious issue of illegal immigration.
If you are in this state illegally, you better beware, because, we're going to crack down on you. With the overwhelming response I've received from every corner of the state, I am absolutely confident that the state of Utah, the people of the state of Utah, are demanding a bill like this be passed in our legislature.
The night before Representative Steven Sandstrom presents his immigration reform bill to the public, he says he's feeling confident. He spent months researching and consulting with attorneys and professionals, and he's come up with what he describes as a simple and straightforward 12-page bill.
In our state, in our country, we're getting to that perfect storm where the public has finally said, we've had enough. We want something done about this.
Sandstrom says his bill is similar to Arizona's, but with several portions taken out.
A lot of the issues dealing with, soliciting day laborers, having cars impounded if you're caught soliciting a day laborer, some of those issues like that are not in my bill.
In Utah's version, he says law enforcement must suspect you've committed a separate offense before they question you about your status.
You have to commit a crime or violate the law, like speeding, before you can even be checked. So it's a secondary offense.
His version also creates a way for state employees, such as those from the Department of Workforce Services, to report anyone they believe might be benefiting from state programs illegally.
I've tried to keep it a measured approach. I've looked for the more compassionate end of it, but at the same time, this bill is very hard-hitting. It's a hard-hitting, tough bill.
In other news, there are many facets to the New York City mosque story. Shouldn't the underlining theme be to heal the rift between Islamic American communities and other American communities? Building a mosque near Ground Zero doesn't seem like the smartest way to begin the healing process, does it? Wouldn't the $100 million be better spent funding opportunities for Muslims somewhere away from the sacred Ground Zero property?
This site here is so close to Ground Zero that the building that they're going to demolish, the historic building they're going to demolish to build this mosque, was damaged by the landing gear of one of the planes that hit the Trade Center. We had over 3,000 Americans that were murdered in this location. It is sacred ground. And the fact that we have an insensitivity about moving forward and what that means for the families of those who lost loved ones in 9/11, the first responders, the people closest to the community, to me, it compounds the question, what are they hiding? Why doesn't Andrew Cuomo step up as the Attorney General who has jurisdiction over this issue and do what people like me, Rudy Giuliani, and the Anti-Defamation League have been calling on? Let's have a clear accounting, open the books. Let's see who's giving the money to construct this mosque. Is it foreign governments? Are they radical organizations? We deserve to know.
Next, we have a Valentine Minute. Take a look as he talks about where our country is headed if no change is made.
The whole political process has been polluted because the government will not allow the system to work. And now we've got this new deal of $3 billion to subsidize or bail out people who are unemployed so they don't lose their homes. And I'm sorry about that. But we've got to allow people to lose in life. Because when you lose in life, you learn in life. I've made some stupid decisions myself. And I've learned from them. And nobody came and bailed me out. The government didn't come bail me out. Nobody bailed me out. I had to learn the hard way about some of the things that I have done as far as my finances is concerned, to a point now where I am on a pretty good stable ground, as stable as it gets in radio. But I am doing the things that I need to do to provide for my family, and I wouldn't be doing these if every time I screwed up, the federal government or any government entity or anybody for that matter came in and bailed me out. You know what it's like? It's like the spoiled kid who has the rich father, and every time he screws up, dad comes in and makes it all good. He gets arrested for something, he pays somebody off, gets him out of jail. He doesn't get a job, dad pays for it. He screws up and wrecks the car, dad pays for it. And so now we've got a government entity in the federal government that bails out stupidity in the banking industry, in the car industry, in the mortgage industry. Every time you turn around, people are making stupid mistakes, but there's no repercussion.
Does Iran have the capability of becoming a large nuclear power? The Iranian president will be in the U.S. next month. Will Obama meet with him and discuss possible solutions?
Would you like to engage in direct diplomacy with the Iranians?
That door is open.
When you say that door is open, the president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, is going to be in New York for the UN General Assembly. Is President Obama ready to meet with Ahmadinejad without any preconditions?
I think the path that we've asked them to follow is to come back to the table in Vienna at the P5+1 dialogue, which is the right place to talk about this program and their intention. But as far as going as far as heads of state meeting, only time will tell. But they have to make those initial steps, I think, to show that they're sincere. There's no point in a theatrical meeting without any building blocks leading up to it.
Hopefully President Obama addresses this crucial topic before the 21st of August, when Iran goes nuclear. Take a look at this developing story.
It's the nuclear power plant bill in Bushehr, which has a very long history. It was started 40 years ago by a German company, then stopped during the Islamic Revolution. And then in 1995, the Russians signed a contract to build this nuclear power plant for the Iranians. Now, there have been very many bills, start dates, anticipated, projected, and then missed. So I spoke to one Iran watcher today to see if this new August 21st date is in fact likely to be the real deal. And he said, at some point this plant has to go online. There have been so many statements about it and so much money invested in it that it's likely that that will happen, but we'll have to see. In the meantime, I spoke to the UN's nuclear watchdog that said they have no comment about this. It actually doesn't have any safeguard implications. It is not the subject of UN resolutions or sanctions. It is a power plant like any other, and inspectors are watching it closely, Bill. So this is not an enrichment facility, but it will be interesting to see if, in fact, Iran's nuclear program is going along as quickly as everyone says.
Before the disaster of Pearl Harbor in 1941, the United States knew Japan was up to something, but we didn't take any defense action until it was too late. Is there something going on that needs to be addressed before history repeats itself? I'm Phil Loiacano for Tea Party HD. Have a great day.